The Nintendo Gamecube was home to some of the most experimental games Nintendo ever published. While titles like Super Mario Sunshine and Metroid Prime pushed familiar franchises forward, other games quietly took risks that didn't always pay off at launch. One of those risks was a tiny little game that didn't nearly fit into any genre. It wasn't a platformer, it wasn't an RPG, and it definitely wasn't an action game. It was something much smaller. This GameCube game sold so poorly that Nintendo nearly forgot it existed, and yet years later, players call it one of the most heartfelt games Nintendo has ever made. Released in 2005, Chibi Robo. It doesn't ask you to save the world. There's no kingdom to rescue, no final boss threatening reality. Instead, you play as a 4-inch tall robot whose only job is to clean a messy house. Chibi Robo was developed by Skip Ltd., a small Japanese studio known for unconventional design ideas. Skip had already collaborated with Nintendo on games like Gift Pia, another quirky title that never left Japan. From the beginning, Chibi Robo was designed to feel personal rather than epic. The team wanted players to focus on small actions, picking up trash, wiping stains, helping toys, and seeing how those actions ripple outward. Nintendo published the game, but even they weren't sure how to market it. It didn't fit the typical Nintendo image of bold heroes and colorful mascots, so it quietly released late in the GameCube's lifespan, and was quickly overlooked. Chibi Robo runs on battery power, and when it runs out, you shut down, so every second matters. Every step, every jump, every chore costs energy. You're constantly dragging your own plug across rooms, plugging yourself into walls just to survive. It's a simple mechanic, but it creates tension in the most mundane places, like vacuuming a carpet or picking up trash. This isn't a power fantasy, it's a game about limitations. What makes this mechanic so effective is how naturally it ties into the game's themes. You're small, you're fragile, and the house feels enormous. Furniture becomes terrain, pets become obstacles, and everyday household objects turn into hazards. Progress isn't about getting stronger, it's about becoming more efficient, learning how to manage your time, your battery, and your environment. In a subtle way, Chibi Robo teaches patience. As you clean, you're slowly uncovering the story of the family living in the house. A father struggling with failure, a mother overwhelmed by responsibility, and a lonely child coping through imagination. None of it is told through long cutscenes. It's revealed through objects, small conversations, and quiet moments. You're not fixing their problems directly, you're helping just enough for things to start healing. The brilliance of Chibi Robo is how understated it is. The game trusts players to notice details, to connect dots, and to care. There's humor everywhere, silly toys, absurd side characters, playful animations, but it's always balanced by melancholy. It feels like a family's trying to hold itself together, and in the middle of it all, a tiny robot doing its best. When Chibi Robo launched, it didn't sell well. It was weird, hard to market, and released late in the GameCube's life. But its failure wasn't because it was bad. It was because it was different. Over time, Chibi Robo gained a cult following. Players who discovered it years later connected deeply to its tone and ideas. Nintendo attempted to revive the series with sequels and spin-offs, but none captured the same quiet magic. The original remains special because it wasn't trying to be anything else. It simply existed. Today, Chibi Robo feels like a message from an era when Nintendo wasn't afraid to be small and sincere. A game that trusted players to slow down, to notice details, and to care. It never needed explosions or epic battles, just a quiet house, a struggling family, and a tiny robot doing what it could. Some games are loud masterpieces, other games were remembered because they were gentle.